Are we live? I think we might be live right now. If we are live, what is up, everybody? Nebraska gets it done versus Northern Iowa, 34-3 in dominating fashion. All right. Again, there's going to be a lot of things we can talk about in this live stream, positive, negative, and we'll get to all of that. Don't get me wrong, but we won today, and we are 3-0. And I told you guys yesterday, I don't care what this game looks like as long as we win, and we did just that. So Nebraska gets it done versus Northern Iowa. Welcome in, everybody, to the post-game live stream. Hope everybody had a good time watching that game that we just endured. We have a lot to talk about. Once again, we have a lot to get into from how we played, from how Northern Iowa came out, because I was honestly impressed by their performance. I thought they played pretty well. I thought we might have honestly underestimated them a little bit. So we will get into it all, but everybody, let me know how you're doing, how you're feeling after a big-time victory versus Northern Iowa. I'm just happy to be 3-0, everybody. Again, we have a lot to talk about for sure. So let's start it off with what I thought was the big storyline, and that was Dylan Raiola's performance. Again, versus Northern Iowa. I'll pull up the stats here. Let's get it going here. Hold on. Pull up the stats. All right. So Dylan Raiola, I thought this was kind of his, I wouldn't say breakout game necessarily, but this was Dylan Raiola's I'm here and I'm here to stay type of game. Okay. Because he was phenomenal. And I understand he had that interception, at the end of the game. That really wasn't his fault. It wasn't the best thrown football by Dylan Raiola. It really wasn't. But with that being said, he was great besides that. Again, 17 for 23, almost perfect from the field. Again, does not get much better than that. Had 250 yards, 2 touchdowns. Again, that interception was a blunder, but it really wasn't his fault. So Dylan Raiola was awesome, and he was surgical. And I keep telling you, this was basically a tune-up game for him. We were going to win no matter what versus Northern Iowa. We were going to win. It was just a matter of how well is Dylan Raiola going to perform, because we need him to be confident going into Illinois. So I was impressed with him. Again, Hoiberg got some reps at the end of the game. We'll get into that. I thought there were some glaring issues, particularly at the end of the game, because we didn't get enough bench players in. We will get to that. Rushing the football, I thought Dante Dowdle had some good carries. I thought Emmett had some good carries. I want you guys to look at this, though. Look at the average yards per carry. Dowdle, 9 yards per carry. And then we have Emmett, 12 average yards of 12 per carry. Okay, we actually didn't run the football as much as I was expecting. We weren't on offense as much as I was expecting. Only 12 carries, 22 carries. So, again, it's not like we really went wild offensively. We knew Northern Iowa was going to try to run the football. That was their philosophy. They did that today. I thought they honestly had a lot of success doing that. But honestly, running the football is good. And then receiving. Jalen Lloyd is a guy who needs to get on the field more. Because every time he's on the field, he makes his presence felt. Okay, that's one thing I'm going to ask Matt Rhule right now. Matt Rhule, why is Jalen Lloyd not in the football game more? Because last week, how many snaps Jalen Lloyd gets versus Colorado? It was less than 10. Okay, in of those 10 snaps, he had a big chunk play down to the 1 yard line. Okay, in today's ball game, he had a big 60-yard chunk play. He should have had another one, but again, the interception was ripped out of his hands, and honestly, again, wasn't the best throw by Raiola. So Jalen Lloyd was awesome. He needs to get on the field more. I thought Card Nelson was a weapon, man. Same deal versus UTEP. When he gets on the field, he makes plays. Isaiah Nair was good. A guy who I am constantly disappointed by, though, is Jamal Banks. Jamal Banks had 1 catch today. Again, this is the 3rd time now where I'm just asking, why isn't Jamal Banks taking over a ball game? And it's either he's not playing good enough, or this offense doesn't suit his skills. I think it's a little bit of both. I don't know. But I thought the passing attack was really good, and that's thanks to Raiola. But we had some issues today. So I'm going to start it off with some of my game notes. We had a couple offsides. We had 2 offsides in the first quarter. Again, that hurt us. Hurt us bad on defense. We had a couple procedural issues. We only gave up 3 points, but honestly, Northern Iowa, they did what they wanted for the most part offensively. Again, they ran the football pretty well. They threw the football pretty well with these short little dink and dunk passes down the field. I thought our secondary blew a couple coverages. Our tackling was not great. John Bullock was the best tackler out there, but you want to know who had a bad day? Stephon Thompson. Despite looking here at the stats, he had 6 tackles. He did not play that well. He missed a couple of tackles. So I thought he did not have a great game. Again, the defense was underwhelming. And we only had, one sack? Which I told you guys would probably happen. We'd only have 1 or 2 just because, again, Northern Iowa wasn't going to pass too much. But still pretty annoying. And how many TFLs do we have? 3 TFLs. If you told me that before the game, I would have been shell-shocked. So this defense honestly did not play very well. And you want to know why, in my opinion, we didn't play that well? We missed out on a key player. Jamari Butler and Mekhi Bayer were out. That should tell you how key those guys are to this defense, because we really struggled without those 2 guys in for Nebraska. But other than that, again, we played pretty well on defense. I can't complain too much because we only gave up 3 points. But there are some things to clean up. And Matt Rhule is going to absolutely talk about it in his press conference. He's going to talk about it all week because we honestly, think about the UTEP game. We won 40-7. Colorado, we won 28-10. This was probably our worst performance pound for pound of all of the games we played this year. A little bit of an issue. Another thing I thought was an issue, again, I'll get to the comment section. We'll start seeing what you guys are saying. So again, make sure to flood the comment section. I will get to it. Also, make sure to hit that like button on the stream and subscribe. But I want to talk about one thing that I thought was an issue was we didn't get enough bench players in the game. Dylan Raiola had a snap in the 4th quarter. That's a problem. In my opinion, Dylan Raiola, if we were doing our job as a team, Dylan Raiola would have not played in the second half because the game would have already been won. But the fact that not only did he play in the second half, but he played in the 4th quarter tells you that we didn't wrap up the game as quickly as we should have. Okay, I wanted to see Kalen get snaps. I wanted to see Graham Sack get snaps. We only saw 1 drive with a backup quarterback today. That was from Hoiberg. That tells you we did not do our job. We did not win this game as badly as we should have won it. I don't know. Okay, and I wanted to see some other guys get snaps. I want to see a Quentin Ives. I wanted to see perhaps a Quinn Clark on offense. I wanted to see a Larry Tarver. We just didn't see him because we didn't do our job throughout the game. Like, we did fine. 34-3 is a victory. And like I said earlier, I'm not going to complain. I just wanted a victory. I just wanted to win. I just wanted to be 3-0. But at the same time, it's an FCS school, and we probably should have beat the brakes off of them. We probably, should have won, in the margins of 50-40 or 50 or 40, right? So I was disappointed by that. Again, it's not something that I'm going to cry about later, like, oh, we didn't get such and such freshmen in the game, but I wasn't happy to see that. Let's go to some of my other notes here. Again, I thought UNI, honestly, tough rushing attack. They were better in that department than I expected. They have some tough running backs. I told you guys in my pregame video, those running backs, specifically Ty Edwards, he should be in Power 5 football because he is a freaking good player, really good player. So I thought the rushing attack was good, but it's simply we have an issue with the penalties right now. We need to clean that up. It is a non-negotiable. We need to clean up the penalties. Okay, because Illinois is a way better team than Northern Iowa. And Illinois took care of business today. I don't know if you guys saw that game, but they looked very good. Okay, I don't want to flip the script too quickly, but there's a real possibility we lose versus Illinois. If we play the same level that we did today, we will probably lose to Illinois. Again, we didn't play terrible today. I thought our offense looked great, but our defense just left a lot to be desired against a team who wasn't very good, in my opinion. So, I don't know. I'm trying not to be critical right now because we won and there was never a doubt in my mind. Like, we were going to win this entire time. But when you play an FCS team, it's kind of a tune-up game. And there were some tune-ups that weren't necessarily made. I was going into this game not thinking about the score, not thinking about the win because I knew we were going to win and I knew we were going to win in dominating fashion. I was just thinking about how can we improve ourselves. The number one thing I wanted to see was cleaning up the penalties. We didn't do that, specifically on defense. And then there were some new things that popped up, some new errors that popped up, right? The defense tackling, that was an issue. We missed out on Bayer. We missed out on Jamari. Maybe, again, I don't know. See, I'm happy about being 3-0, and I'm sure all of you are as well, but I think we just don't know how good this team is yet. We don't. There's still a lot left to be desired, but there's still a lot of question marks. We don't truly know how good this team is yet. And the game next week against Illinois will tell us everything. It will tell us everything. It will reveal, is Nebraska underrated? Is Nebraska overrated? Do we have a legit chance to make the playoff? Are we just going to win 7-8 games? Next week's game will tell us literally everything. Okay, today's game tells us nothing. We were going to beat Northern Iowa no matter what. Again, I'm not going to overreact about a certain player playing very well or a certain player playing bad. Like, it doesn't matter because we were going to win. But this left a little bit to be desired. Similar to Colorado in the second half, where we were dominating Colorado and we just couldn't put them away. Felt like the exact same thing today. But with that being said, Dylan Raiola played awesome. The receiver core played awesome. I thought, again, we weren't bad today by any means. It's just there was a lot to be desired. A lot left to be desired. All right, guys, let's get to the comment section. Everybody, start putting stuff in there. What was your main takeaway? I'm going to get to all of it. Let's have a fun night, everybody. It's a victory Saturday night. So we have a lot to talk about, a lot to be excited about, talking about a victory. So everybody get in here. Let's talk about it. Talk about the victory. So Nathan says, I still want to see more from Banks. Again, me as well. And this is the big thing with Banks, is that we thought we were getting a bona fide wide receiver one. We thought we were getting an NFL caliber talent, and we just haven't seen it yet. We just haven't. We've had breakout performances from Nair. We've had breakout performances from Barney. We had a good day from Carter Nelson. We just haven't seen it from Banks, and that is the guy who we expected the most of. So definitely pretty surprising from him. DR missed quite a few throws today. I mean, he only threw 6 incompletions. So, again, yeah, sure. I don't think, was he perfect? No. But he only threw 6 incompletions. Like, it wasn't like he missed out. Like you said he missed quite a few throws today. He had 6 incompletions. That's not quite a few throws. Quite a few throws would be 10, 15. Like, no, he was fine. He was fine. Illinois is not far off from us. I think Illinois is at the exact same tier we are, to be completely honest with you. I think here we are, and then here's Illinois. Like, maybe they're just a little bit below us, but they're very similar. Very similar. We might be in trouble. I think we might be. Again, there is I put it at like maybe a 50-50 against Illinois. Again, we have all week to talk about. We're going to talk about this game. But we have all week to talk about Illinois, but it's going to be a big talking point because this is our first real opponent. It's going to be a ranked-on-ranked battle. I don't know what we're going to be. I'd imagine we're going to be probably 21 in the polls. I think Illinois will probably be 24 in the polls. Just spitballing, but it's going to be a ranked-on-ranked battle. First of all, not a big-time win, but a big win to keep us moving in the same direction. That's a really good point. Again, we necessarily, did we need to be flashy? No, we didn't need to be flashy. Sure, we just needed to win. And okay, that's a fine point. But again, we're going to nitpick. That's what we're doing in this live stream. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and everything. What is the reason the interception happened? Let the guy take the guy from him. Throw was great. What are you talking about? The Raiola throw to Jalen Lloyd was phenomenal. Are we talking about the same throw? I thought Raiola had a good game, but that Jalen Lloyd throw. And I do agree with you, Stefan, that I do believe that it was Jalen Lloyd's fault. But Raiola significantly underthrew that football. Jalen Lloyd wouldn't have even been in that situation to bobble the football if it was thrown on the money. Yeah, that was underthrown by Raiola. So I'm not sure what you're talking about, Stefan. Don't come in here with saying that last part. That was not a good throw. You need to rewatch that clip, my man. Because, we can pull it up. I got all day. We can pull up that clip if you don't mind, Stefan, right now with that Raiola pick. But, again, I agree with you that it was Jalen Lloyd's fault on the pick. But with that being said, it was not a perfectly thrown football. Okay. So, let's see. Does Twitter have it? Okay. I was going to pull up the clip, but nobody on Twitter posted it, so... You're saved. You are staved, Stefan. You are absolutely saved. All right. Let's get back to the comment section. Again, put in all your thoughts, everybody. We'll be here just hanging out, talking about the game. They didn't look great, but it's to be expected coming off of last week. I agree to a little bit, but at the same time, we expect this team to be competing for the Big Ten. We expect this team to be competing against some of the top tier, squads like Ohio State, like Iowa in the back half, like Wisconsin in the back half. So in order to be competing against some of these top quality teams, you need to be expecting more of Nebraska than what we would have expected of them in the past. So I said all that to say this. Yeah, is this expected? It's kind of a letdown game after last week, but we should take care of business every single week in dominating fashion, especially against inferior opponents. We gave up too many rushing yards. I agree. Against the FCS squad, we shouldn't have gave up 100 on the ground. We shouldn't have. Why can't Raiola ever hit Lloyd on the run like last year? He either underthrows him or overthrows him. Yeah, you're right. Again, and even that Lloyd pass for 60 yards, that was underthrown a little bit, but not a big deal. Again, it's not a big deal. I'm also puzzled by the lack of Banks in the offense. Yeah, it is an issue. And again, I will go back to the point I made a little bit earlier. It's because of two things. Either one, he's not playing good enough, or two, the offense is not utilizing him well enough. And I believe it's both. But if I were to go to more to one, it'd be the fact that I don't think this offense is necessarily built for Jamal Banks and his production. Illinois win versus Kansas doesn't look as good after Kansas lost to UNLV. Sure, but Illinois also took care of business today pretty dominantly. Let's check what that final score was versus Central Michigan. I mean, they won 30-9, but if you were watching that game, it was pretty dominant. They were never even in that ball game. So, Illinois is a good team. Illinois is a good team. Steven, they're coming after you, my man. That was not a good throw. That was not a good throw by Raiola. That was a underthrown football, and that was honestly the only time where I'm like, Dylan, what are you doing? It's a hard throw, but Steven, to say that Raiola threw that on the money, are you kidding me? If he threw it on the money, Lloyd would have not even been in a situation to bobble it and give it to the defender because it would have caught Lloyd right in the hands away from the defender. That's where you're supposed to throw that football. So I don't know what he was saying. Banks was wide open running to the right when we were on like the 20 or something, and Raiola didn't even look toward him, and we would have converted. Again, that happens. That's quarterback play. Sometimes you miss an over receiver. He underthrows a lot. Again, Raiola's not perfect, but he played pretty darn well today. And I told you guys in the offseason, he doesn't need to be perfect. I'm not going to sit here every single post-game live and say, oh, Dylan Raiola, he had one pick or he underthrew this football, because at the end of the day, no matter how poorly Dylan Raiola might play at times, he's still going to be Nebraska's best quarterback that we've had in a very, very long time. So I'm not going to necessarily complain after everything that happens wrong. Okay, I got to pull up this interception because you guys are, no offense, but you guys are tripping because you're saying that Raiola, again, did the ball to Jalen Lloyd that Dylan Raiola threw? Did Lloyd's hands touch the football? Yes, it did. Was the ball in stride? No, it was not. So it was not a perfect pass. Raiola underthrew him. I don't know what's so hard to understand about that, guys. And again, I'm not saying it was Raiola's fault. That I told you guys that I think it was Lloyd's fault, but at the exact same time, again, Raiola did not throw a perfect pass. Just because Raiola throws a pass that hits a receiver in the hands, it doesn't mean it's perfect. Okay, I'm 6'3". If somebody throws a pass and I touch the football, it doesn't mean it's perfect. It could be way above my head and I can get my fingertips on it. Okay, so you guys need to understand that. Again, I will, if I find a clip on Twitter of that interception, I'll pull it up. But again, I thought Raiola played good today, but the narrative or that Raiola threw a perfect pass, like Steven said, again, it was a decent, and I'm not saying Raiola threw the pick, but at the same time, it was not a perfect pass. It was not a perfect pass. Anyways, let's get back to the comment section here. HH had a completion, a catch, and a run all in the same game. Was I the only one that didn't like that? I tweeted this out. I thought, looking back on it, it was not my best tweet, but I said Matt Rhule is treating Heinrich Hoiberg like a Make-A-Wish kid because he basically puts him in. Like, again, I told you guys this in the offseason, and I don't feel like Raiola should, or excuse me. Okay, let me get back on my train of thought. I don't feel like Hoiberg should play any other positions because he's not better than any other running back we have in that room. He's not better than any other wide receiver. So I just felt like when Raiola or when Rhule put him in the game, it's like, what are we doing here? You're just you're putting him in because you feel bad. I didn't like it. And then Heinrich Harburg also had a direct snap. They put him in at quarterback, and they basically had to play right up the middle, and it went for a loss of yards, and it turned out to be a super stupid play call because we ended up kicking a field goal. So let's stop putting Harburg at other positions because it's stupid, it doesn't work, and it just feels like we're putting a Make-A-Wish kid out there. Like that's my take. That's my take. That is my take. Steven, you're saying that it wasn't perfect. You're correct. You didn't say it was perfect. You said the pass was great. I'm using your words, Steven. Let's find it. Here we go. You said the throw, you guys can't see the bottom, but it says you said the throw was great. Dylan Raiola's throw was not great, my man. On that pick. So I'm using your words, not mine. Again, let's not talk about the pick anymore. Let's not talk about the pick anymore. But you're wrong, Steven. The throw was not great. It was not perfect. It was not great. You are wrong. All right. It was catchable. Correct. There's a lot of those that are catchable, but you did not say catchable. You said the throw was great, and it was not great. All right. Again, Steven, you're arguing with a wall right now. You're arguing with nobody. It doesn't matter. It's an irrelevant conversation. Let's get back to the ball game. All right. Illinois will be a tough matchup. I agree. Again, that's going to be a game. It's a 50-50. It's a 50-50 ball game. Sloppy play. We can't be the team we want with that many penalties. I agree. Again, and that was the focal point throughout practice, right? Talking to my friends who, are on the Nebraska media team. They go to these practices. They're recording videos for the team. They're helping out with the staff. They're helping out with Matt Rhule. And they told me this. They said the big focal point throughout practice was cleaning up these penalties. We did not do enough to clean up the penalties, clearly. Clearly, we didn't do enough. So, we didn't do enough. And that falls on the coaching staff, that falls on the team, that falls on everybody. And then we got to stop these second half shenanigans. Seriously. Like, we got to stop messing around the second half. They stall out in the second half of every game. I agree. I don't know. Joshua says, sometimes I wonder if you're a Husker fan. Oh, sorry, Josh. You're right, man. I'm wearing a Nebraska shirt. I've made a Nebraska video, every single day this entire year. You got me. You got me, Josh. I'm not a Nebraska fan. You got me, man. What even is that comment? Who are you? Yeah, man. I'm not. You got me. Like, what are we on about? What are we on about? Indiana beat the brakes off of UCLA. Yeah, UCLA also sucks. Like, that was basically the two worst teams in the Big Ten going after it. Like, I'm not overreacting about that game just yet. A long time until we play Indiana. Dowdle doesn't have breakaway speed. Should have scored on that run. He looked like he ran out of gas. That's not the type of running back Dowdle is, though. Like, he's not an elusive back. He's just kind of a run over you type of guy. And again, he doesn't need to be, a super elusive type of guy. We're not asking him to do that. So I wasn't too mad about it. I wasn't too mad about it. We seemed a little vanilla on defense. That's expected. Okay, Steven. You gotta chill out in chat right now. We're done. We're done with the interception conversation. We're done. It's not that deep. Okay, my man. We're done with that conversation. All right. If he doesn't have breakaway speed, then how should he score on that play? Perdon't look terrible. Yeah, again, and that was also a tough matchup for them because Notre Dame's coming after, getting basically embarrassed against Northern Illinois. They were going to take care of business. Because they were going to bounce back. And Marcus Freeman was not going to let them do that again. I respect Marcus Freeman. I think he's a heck of a head coach. Northern Iowa scored 3 points. I think you're being a bit too critical. I told you guys this at the forefront. I agree. And I told you guys this in my video. I told you guys this at the start of the stream. I agree that our defense only gave up 3 points. That's good. But I wasn't really worried about the score going into this game. I wanted to fix some issues that we had in previous games, and we didn't fix them necessarily. We didn't fix the penalty issue. We didn't fix the tackling issue. There were some new issues that popped up. And again, don't tell me that I'm being critical because I guarantee you if we're going to turn on Matt Rhule's press conference right now, he's saying the exact same thing. I bet Matt Rhule's pissed about this performance. I'm not being critical necessarily. Like, I thought we played all right today. Do we play perfect? No. Do we play, do we blow them out as well as I thought we should have? No. I wanted to put up 50 on them. I wanted to have a shutout. So, yeah, sure, I'm a little bit critical because I expect a lot from this team, right? I expect us to be in the mix for the Big Ten. But, again, I'm not being too critical because I guarantee you, I have Matt Rhule's press conference over here on the left-hand side. Matt Rhule saying the exact same thing. He was not happy with today's performance. I guarantee you, Raymond, would not come at Matt Rhule for being negative. So why are you coming at me? Again, we got a lot to talk about. UNI was a well-coached team. Again, yeah, they're again very similar to Iowa. They're like everything about them very similar to Iowa. Hey Wilson, Thomas wants to know if you still. We're not doing, bro. If you guys were not in last night's stream, I don't know about this Thomas guy, but he came in there and was talking about, I don't even know. The chat gave him a hard time. That's all I gotta know. I think this might have been a blessing in disguise to get the win, but we still have so much to get. Hold on, I gotta see the rest of this. So much we have to get corrected. They will remain humble and keep grinding. I agree. Completely agree. How many yards did our defense give up? About 250. About 250 we gave up. But again, going back to Rory's point, then again, guys, stop talking about the interception in chat. We're done with that. We're done talking about the interception. It was a catchable football. It was not a great football. Literally stop. Okay, guys. Put that to bed. Okay. Back to Rory's point, I agree this might have been a little bit of a blessing in disguise because Matt Rhule always I like what Matt Rhule does because so many coaches in the past, and Scott Frost would do this, we would lose a football game and they would say, we did so many good things, and they'd focus on the good things. Matt Rhule, in a blowout victory like today, will say, we did so many bad things. Let me just say that again for you guys, if you didn't catch that. Matt Rhule, after a dominating victory in which we established ourselves in every single aspect of the ball game, will sit there in the press conference and critique the things we did badly. That's a good thing because we have standards of perfection. Okay, so critiques might say, Matt Rhule's so negative. Why doesn't he focus on the positive? Wilson's so negative. Why don't we focus on the positive? But the best programs never focus on the positive because they're always trying to get better. And they're always trying to clean up the things that hurt them. So, to your point, Rory, we have a lot to clean up this week. We have to clean up the penalties. We have to clean up the tackling. I thought we have to clean up the play calling in the second half and a lot of those things that stall out every single week. But other than that, I thought we played all right today. I really do. Again, there are some issues, and I'm frustrated about them. But other than that, I can't complain too much. And like I said earlier, we only gave up 3 points. We only gave up 3 points. So, again, it wasn't really that. Again, I wasn't necessarily too disappointed. I knew we were going to win. This is one of those games where you don't look at the scoreboard. You want to watch the game and see specific aspects of it to impress you, and I just didn't see too much that impressed me. But again, I go back to that Rhule thing because to all the people who will say, Wilson, you're being negative. First off, I'm not being negative because I mentioned the positive. Don't ever say Nebraska fans being negative because Matt Rhule does the exact same thing. Because Matt Rhule, as our head coach, wants to get rid of these negative qualities. So he addresses them. He doesn't hide them. He doesn't sugarcoat things. He doesn't drink the Kool-Aid all the time. So I commend Matt Rhule. I'm going to do the same thing on the channel. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Let me know in chat. Would you rather have a content creator come to you every single week and tell you that every player on the team is good for Nebraska and we're going to win every single game? Or would you rather have a content creator be completely honest with you and say, hey, I think this player played good. I think this player played bad. I think we have a such and such chance at winning this week. I'm going to be honest. And clearly people have gravitated toward that philosophy with how we've done so far. So anyways, Illinois, big trouble. We shall know shortly. I agree. That's a good game. That's a big game. It's a good game. We'll see. I will be there. Everybody needs to remember this is only Raiola's third game. Relax. And again, I told you guys this from the get-go. I thought Raiola played great. Again, we're not talking about the interception anymore, but besides that, I thought Raiola was awesome. Again, he only threw 3 incompletions today, or 6 incompletions today, folks. I thought he was good. The only thing I will say about Raiola is that he does not throw downfield very much. And when he does, it's not too accurate. But I think that's just because our offense doesn't really require him to throw downfield, for better or worse. And I agree there are some issues there. Like, I would prefer us to throw downfield a lot more because I think we have some dynamic athletes. I don't know. But yeah. Good win, bring on Illinois. Exactly. Again, that Illinois game is going to be, it's huge. It is so big for this program. Let's see. Rory said Make-A-Wish kid. Yeah. Again, I don't think Hoiberg should play running back or wide receiver. Because simply put, he is not better than any running back on our roster. He's not better than any wide receiver on our roster. And he's not better than Raiola at quarterback. Okay, we had one snap with him at quarterback today. And it was a direct snap right up the middle, basically quarterback sweep. And he lost yardage. And it turns out that play was detrimental because we later kicked a field goal. It didn't score a touchdown. So we just need to stop putting Hoiberg in the ballgame if it's not quarterback. Because it's taking away snaps from guys who actually deserve to be out there. And that's, again, I would rather Hoiberg just be ready to be the best quarterback he can possibly be. All I take away from this game is that Butler and Bayer make a massive difference. Exactly. And they just provide a different element to this defense because they're athletic freaks. They're guys who can take over ball games.